well, show you the action on the House floor. President's State of the Union address due to begin at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, about 24 minutes from now.
Well, there's an embarrassment right away. So I just want to let you know if you're watching this live, um, there's a little bit of a delay. I just want to let you know. So here comes the vice president of the United States. What an embarrassment. She doesn't do anything. Anything. Could you imagine the reason why people shouldn't even want Biden to step down is because she would take over, and she doesn't need to be. Look how big and nice that room is. She doesn't need to be the leading person of America. Oh, here come the. I'd like to say the men and women of the cabinet, but you know, you don't know what they are. He's got men as women, women as men. Who knows what they are? And okay, so look at the two, the speaker and the vice president. They're happy as shit. They're thinking, I got a pension coming to me so big. I mean, they have to be polite to each other. Um, he doesn't look too happy with her. So that's I'm trying this other I got this other Facebook Live thing going. I don't know what that is at all, but I don't know where it airs. I don't know where it goes. And I may even turn it off because I don't see where it's. Ah, there's Mitch McConnell. Look at that guy. There's a joke for you. I'm gonna get rid of this other Facebook Live because it doesn't really do anything. So Mitch McConnell, that guy is oops, I'm conservative, but that guy needs to step down. All these people that have been in Congress for oh, Pauline is calling. Hold on. Hold on. All right, so we're back. And why is that stream? The stream seemed to have frozen. We don't want that to happen. We got all these people, they're older than Jesus in Congress. And who they're all probably rich. You imagine the oh boy, they're wearing Palestinian. Look at these two wearing Palestinian scarves. That's an embarrassment. Well, that's what they believe, but the thing is they just shouldn't be in Congress. This is not what America is about. No, it's not about the Middle East and those types. So the original Congress, Washington, Jefferson, Adams, they would be embarrassed to see what these people are about. They really would. I'm embarrassed. If I'm embarrassed, they would be embarrassed. So I don't understand why. There we go. You're watching, comment, come on and comment. Uh, they're going to start eventually. They're waiting for the president. He hasn't even left the White House. They're probably still drugging him up. He's supposed to start at 9. Oh, there's Lindsey Graham, another tool. Every one of them is a tool. That's why I say it. Every congressman is a tool. There's Josh Hawley, Republican. I don't know the guy in front of him, but they make it like there's Mitch McConnell, another guy. He is, and is that with Chuck Schumer? These guys know each other for so long. You think they're not in cahoots with each other? I don't know if that's Schumer, but they're all in cahoots with each other. It's a shame what this has turned into. Uh, our country has gotten worse and worse. Look at these guys. We had a Congress that fought in the Revolutionary War, and now we have a Congress that they're like a bunch of they hid under the table during January 6th, what they call the insurrection, which we all know it wasn't. There's Ted Cruz. He just won a landslide in his primary. We have quite a ways to go. We're going to see the Joint Chiefs of Staff sitting in the front. We're going to see the Supreme Court sitting in the front. So, share the video, comment, like, and some of these guys, they look familiar. I don't know who. I had a hearing today on, I think it was at Mikulski. I'm not sure. They had a hearing today on, um, I hope I'm not on the wrong, nope, on, hearing today on the Homeland Security, and of course, the Democrats lie about everything, blaming the Republicans when they're the ones that won't do anything to stop the border crisis. So my question is, I want to put this up. Let's see. Here we go. Is this president who's speaking an imposter, on meds, completely lost? 'Cause I don't know how this guy is gonna get through. He's gotta be hopped up on something when there is absolutely no way. I mean, sometimes he just talks gibberish. Could you imagine? Oh, there's self-hating Jew Bernie, what's his name? There's Kennedy. So this is a split screen of the White House. Looks like a mausoleum the way he's gonna be coming out. And that's his pajamas in the bag. So when he goes to sleep, I'm surprised he doesn't come like do the State of the Union in little like bunny pajamas with ears. And so they either got someone in a mask, in a Mission Impossible Biden mask doing this, or they prepped Biden and just put him on some kind of amphetamines. How's this guy going to last during an hour and a half long speech? So a speech of lies. It's going to say how the economy's doing good. Come on, economy's not doing good. So, well, let's see who's coming out. They're just waiting. They're waiting. Hope they don't bring him out in a coffin. You know, probably always have one standing by for him. Up there they are. Let's see. He's walking kind of slow. He's got to be hopped up on. He is probably so pumped of adrenaline. Because did you see how fast he walks? He doesn't walk that fast. All right, so he's joking around. So that's him. It's not an imposter, at least. At least we know it's him. How you doing, sir? That's what they ask him. How you doing, sir? Good. What kind of ice cream you got? Trump, they ask, why aren't you sending bombs over to Afghanistan? No. They're going to drive him over. Probably a pretty short drive. I don't know. Those two are like, oh my God, I can't believe we got to stand next to each other. I hope she's wearing perfume. I hope he's wearing cologne. See, they'll be cordial at first and maybe even later, but they are so on opposite ends. And she's a puppet for the agenda, and he, the speaker, is trying to keep the country going properly. So I hope this stream goes for a long time. I should have plugged it in the Ethernet, but there they are in the car. There they are in the car. There's Elizabeth, the Indian, so she claims. She's got 1/4% Indian in her, and all of a sudden she thinks she's belongs on a totem pole. Put her face on a totem pole. Oh. Oh God, Jamie! There are two: Jamie Raskin and AOC, the bartender, and another self-hating Jew. That do you believe that she is such a puppet. She is loving her $170,000 congressional salary. There's Pelosi and Schumer. Pelosi, that looks like Pelosi wearing her white. She's angry about something over there. Oh, look at the group wearing their white in
Again, you're watching
solidarity.
members of the House and Senate gather on the House floor live. We're about 10 minutes away from the State of the Union. And as you can see, the
There they
president
go.
just left the White House,
Schumer
seemingly a
and
little late. Greta Bronner, do you have any information on
not
that?
one
Yeah,
real
the
tooth
Washington
between them.
Post noted about 20 minutes ago that ceasefire
Yeah.
protesters were occupying the route the president takes, his motorcade takes from the White House to the Capitol. Around 250 were sitting on Pennsylvania Avenue. The protesters projected Biden's legacy as genocide onto the East Building of the National Gallery of Art. and are demanding that the U.S. end funding to Israel. So not sure if that is what delayed the president's departure. He is expected to speak toward the top of the hour or a little after, but that is from the Washington Post. Live coverage here of the State of the Union on C-SPAN.
The joint session will come to order. The chair appoints as members of the committee on the part of the House to escort the President of the United States into the chamber. The gentleman from Louisiana, Mr. Scalise. The gentleman from Minnesota, Mr. Emmer. The gentlewoman from New York, Ms. Stefanik. The gentleman from North Carolina, Mr. Hudson.
So they're all gonna
The gentleman from Alabama, Mr. Palmer.
they're all
The gentleman
gonna
from Utah, Mr.
stand and
Moore.
cheer for him when he
The
walks
gentlewoman from
in. That's
Michigan,
how it works.
Mrs. McClain.
That's how it works.
House be in order. House be in order.
People are not even paying attention. Oh, there goes the stream.
House be in order. The
Nobody's.
gentleman from Oklahoma, Mr. Cole. The gentleman from Pennsylvania, Mr. Reschenthaler. Gentleman from Kentucky, Mr. Rogers. Gentleman from New York, Mr. Jeffries. The gentlewoman from Massachusetts, Ms. Clark. The gentleman from California, Mr. Aguilar. The gentleman from California, Mr. Liu. The gentlewoman from Washington, Ms. Del Bene. The gentleman from Colorado, Mr. Neguse. The gentlewoman from Illinois, Ms. Underwood. The gentlewoman from Texas, Ms. Escobar. The gentlewoman from Massachusetts, Ms. Trahan. The gentleman from Michigan, Mr. Kildee.
The President of the Senate, at the
Excuse
direction
me.
of that body,
Could you
appoints the
repeat
following
that?
senators as members of the committee on the part of the Senate to escort the President of the United States into the House chamber. The Senator from New York, Mr. Schumer. The Senator from Illinois, Mr. Durbin.
The communist
Senator
from New
from
York, the
Washington,
communist
Mrs.
from
Murray.
Illinois.
The Senator from Michigan, Ms. Stabenow. The Senator from Minnesota, Ms. Klobuchar. The Senator from Virginia, Mr. Warner. The Senator from Wisconsin, Ms. Baldwin. The Senator from Kentucky, Mr. McConnell. The Senator from South Dakota, Mr. Thune. The Senator from Wyoming, Mr. Barrasso.
None
The
of these
Senator from
people
West Virginia,
would I
Mrs. Capito.
trust near my
And the
bank
Senator
account.
from Iowa, Ms. Ernst.
The members of the escort committee will exit the chamber through the lobby doors.
And hopefully never come back. Just go. Escort, leave, exit, leave. It's like a bar mitzvah. And now here comes Uncle Chuck and Aunt Amy Schumer. It's a comedian. It's not. There's Matt Gaetz. No, last year, who was it? Marjorie Taylor. Oh, there's that traitor, Mitt Romney. His daughter was, or his niece was the head of the RNC. You know, get rid of her real fast. They got rid of her. Oh, there's Jamie Raskin. What a clown. Well, look at this bunch of people. I wouldn't put them on Jeopardy. I don't want that. I don't want them on my Family Feud team.
The Dean of the Diplomatic Corps.
I want you to realize every single person you're looking at tonight in this room is probably 500 congressmen, not the galley, but the assistants, the Supreme Court, every single one of them, you and I pay their salary.
Mr. Speaker, the Chief Justice and Associate Justices of the Supreme Court.
So there are the 9 chief justices who just ruled. So we have, let's see, Chief Justice Roberts, who isn't even the longest standing. Do you believe that? Clarence, can you believe on the longest sitting Justice Thomas is? Anyone got a can of Coke? Remember his deal? Then you got Samuel Alito, Sonia Sotomayor, Elena Kagan, Neil, thanks for the appointment, but I'll still betray you, Gorsuch. Brett, he probably did it, Kavanaugh. Amy Coney Island Barrett, Ketanji Brown, no, I can't define a woman, Jackson. Boy, if Trump wins and Republicans can control Congress, I would say Clarence Thomas in the second or third year of the next presidency will step down to get replaced by another conservative justice. Look at this bunch. Look at this bunch. They're all friends probably by now. That is not a good looking bunch. You think they've been standing long. Wait till Biden and she's going to be up off her knees more than she's ever been. Up and down, up and down. Her knee action's going to get more than she was working for the mayor of San Francisco. Pretty soon it's going to be, I'd like to introduce the President of the United States of America. And then they all stand and cheer. Remember, you're paying their salary. And it's a big party for them. They're all on our dime and they're making money on the side. Remember that. There was Nadler looking at his Snapchat. Maybe he hooked up with somebody. There's Pelosi. She ain't the queen anymore, but she's made so much money in Congress. So much money. So then they have the guy announce. I forget. I don't know. He's a sergeant at arms. I think he announces the. He announces the president of the United States. Oh, that's Mrs. That's Mr. Vice President's wife. Another clown. Another clown. Oh God! Look at this is America. These are our leaders right here. These are our leaders right here. So that's your husband? Yeah, I don't really like him, but I'm stuck with him for now. It would look bad if Oh, who are they applauding? Oh, the ice. Oh boy. Everyone politely appoints Jill, Dr. Jill. Oh, look at this guy. Herman Munster's in the house. Fred Gwynn, everybody. Herman Munster. It's like we're paying these people and they're all cheering themselves. We're paying these people. That's one heavy gavel, I'll tell you. Up and there's a whip pan right
Mr.
there.
Speaker, the President's Cabinet.
Yeah, they all belong in the cabinet. They all belong hidden away behind. Remember, you're paying all their. I don't know Janet Yellen. Oh, yeah, I guess she's Secretary of the Treasury. I thought she was the Fed chair. Oh boy, what a clown show these guys are. These guys should be working for Barnum and Bailey, not American citizens. Boy, they all have a little round table together. They get together, destroy America. Look at this. Where are the Americans? Where is the straight American male in his cabinet? Doesn't have any. Ladies, they should have Michael Buffer do it. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready for the President of the United States of America. America? We don't want this to be America. We want this to be a third world country. All these people, they're not only getting salaries, they're going to be getting pensions. More money than most people make. That's what their pension. Oh, God. Look at this guy, Mayorkas. This guy what a joke of people. Here's the Kennedy guy from Louisiana. He's a hard hitter. He's good. He's a good congressman. Pete Buttigieg. Sure, this is 2020. Sure, I'll step out of the presidential race if I could have a cabinet position. Okay, we'll give you Secretary of Transportation. What does that guy know about transportation? Well, I guess he does know about riding in the saddle. Who are these people? Who are these people? Right, you got a lot of ice cream vendors. Oh, that's Lloyd Austin. I think it is. It's Secretary of the Army, where look at that joke. The Department of Justice. What a bunch of crooks. This is the most crooked administration in the history of America. They won't do anything for America. And that guy wants to not rehire. Mayorkas, thank you for letting everybody come into our country, even if they're terrorists. Jeez, what a joke of a person that guy is. All these people have been around. It ain't like they're new to politics. I don't know what they do in between presidencies, but they're doing something because they got to be supporting themselves somewhere. Even Tom Homan, the guy who's going to become Secretary of Homeland Security when Trump is elected, if it's not stolen again, what is he doing in his off time? Is he not getting paid? Is he getting pension? Oh, there's that guy from Texas. That guy's another joker. These guys don't care about America as a whole. That's the thing. They care about their own personal agenda with their little group. This guy should also go. Blinken, Antony Blinken. He's another creep. Now, there's Joe Manchin. He doesn't know if he should be a Republican or a Democrat, so he sticks with the Democrats. That guy should wake up. Hop over to the Republican side. You know where it's at. He's one of the more moderate Democrats. I give him credit at least. But he certainly doesn't vote enough with the Republicans. I think that's Lauren Boebert. She got all dressed up. She did her hair. She got a nice blue dress. She saw the camera, but doesn't want to look at it, looked away. She sat next to Matt Gaetz, I think. These people privy to all your information and all my information. Did Biden fall asleep in the car? It's supposed to start at 9. It's 9:15. Oh, there's Elizabeth Warren, the Apache, 1%, 1/4 of 1% Apache. So then the person steps in again. I don't know if she says, ladies and gentlemen, presenting the President of the United States of America. I think everybody stands out of respect for him, even though he's a puppet and never won, and he was put in by the deep state that stole the election. Here he is, the Sergeant of Arms.
Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States.
That was the worst introduction I've ever heard. Well, they lead him out with someone who looks older than him. That was the worst introduction I've ever heard. He's going to kiss everybody. He's going to take advantage of this. All right, fella. Let me get to the ladies. Got a lot of makeup on. See, he's touching his face. Up there, she's pulling his hand away from his face and keep him going. We got to keep going. Who's that lady? That's her, his handler. Got to keep going. Don't touch your face. Chuck Schumer behind him, another creep who should resign. Keeps touching his nose. Why did Biden keep touching his nose? He's got some. There he goes again. He's got some. Maybe he took some cocaine to get all hopped up for this. I know. I can't believe I'm president either. You believe it? They made me win. Okay. Who's this? All right. The guy behind him, he said hello to him 57 times already. Who's this woman leading him? See, that's his smile, so that's him. That guy looks like President Ford, but that's Scalise. Look at this, this lady's man. You want him to keep going. She's pulling him. She wants him to keep going. They want to take pictures. He's wearing a Make America Great hat again. He doesn't care. He's made so much money with Burisma and China. Is this guy wearing one of those fake Ben Franklin wigs with the hair hanging down? They all touch him like he's a celebrity. He's the president, but I met the president. Clinton. No, we didn't travel together. How are you, pal? He's actually kind of a nice guy, but in his old age, he's been turned into a puppet and against all the principles he's ever had. What is she saying to him? She criticizing him? Did she what did she say to him? I don't know what she said to him. They made me win. He said they made me win. What does that mean? They made me win. How you doing? This was weird. Like she came up from the bow. Oh, look, let's take a picture. These guys never get to run into the president. So let's take a picture. Look at this. They're all taking pictures. Like, this is going to take so long for him just to walk down the aisle. I got to go back later to see what Marjorie Taylor Greene said. Joe Manchin. They know each other. These guys know each other for so long. Everybody's got to get a picture. You know, this isn't a carnival. The guy's giving a State of the Union. America's waiting. Let's go. These people are so selfish. Yep. Well, that's what makes a politician. They're so selfish. Let's go. Imagine he takes a picture with 500 people. Come on. Get moving here. Unbelievable. You're going to do great. They're going to be yelling. Well, they're going to be yelling too. Let's go with the pictures. This is ridiculous. So there's Hakeem Jeffries. I don't know. I don't want a guy in Congress named Hakeem. I don't care what you call me. Four more years. Okay, it's becoming a political. This should be illegal because now they're. This is ridiculous. 4 more years of destroying the country. Destroy the country. She looks like one of those. What are those lizard people? She's like a head of the lizard people. Those eyes just bug out. So, so he gets up there. He shakes the hands. He gives the vice president and the speaker a copy of the speech. Then the speaker announces him, and then the whole audience gets up and applauds again. So we still got a little ways to go, folks. We're waiting for this to start. He's taken so many pictures with people. He can't even get up on the stage. And this is just taking forever. I think I'm going to shut the lights. That's going to help a little bit.
Toddy.
At least he's not gonna rip up the speech the way Pelosi did. So they're gonna announce him again, and then they all. I don't know if they sit first, but they're gonna announce him, and then he'll stand again. Like we put you in there, and we stole the election, and we're still in charge.
Jill.
Where's Jill? Where's my wife?
Good evening.
But he's got to wait. He's got to wait. He wasn't introduced
Good
yet.
evening.
Wait.
If I were smart, I'd go home now. Mr. Speaker, Madam Vice President, members of Congress, my fellow Americans. In January 1941,
Well, he skipped right over the
Franklin Roosevelt
introductions.
came to this chamber to speak to the nation. And he said, I address you at a moment unprecedented in the history of the Union. Hitler was on the march. War was raging in Europe. President Roosevelt's purpose was to wake up Congress and alert the American people that this was no ordinary time. Freedom and democracy were under assault in the world. Tonight, I come to this same chamber to address the nation. Now, it's we who face an unprecedented moment in the history of the Union. And yes, my purpose tonight is to wake up the Congress and alert the American people that this is no ordinary moment either. Not since President Lincoln and the Civil War have freedom
No
and democracy
ordinary
been under
moment that
assault
he
as home
created.
as there are today. What makes our moment rare is the freedom and democracy are under attack both at home and overseas at the very same time. Overseas, Putin of Russia is on the march, invading Ukraine and sowing chaos throughout Europe and beyond. If anybody in this room thinks Putin will stop at Ukraine, I assure you he will not.
Putin ain't going any further, and he's ready for peace. They just send Ukraine and everyone on the Democrats the money.
Ukraine can stop Putin. Ukraine can stop Putin if we stand with Ukraine and provide the weapons that needs to defend itself.
Oh boy, I'm sure it's funny when Democrats are for war. They're the ones usually not for war.
That is
But
all.
these are all the weapons
That
companies
is all
loving it.
Ukraine is asking. They're not asking for American soldiers.
They're asking for American
In fact, there's no
dollars.
American soldiers at war in Ukraine, and I'm determined to keep it that way.
Ukraine
But
is
now,
asking for American dollars.
assistance to Ukraine is being blocked by those who want to walk away from our world leadership. It wasn't long ago when a Republican president named Ronald Reagan thundered, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. Now, my predecessor, a former Republican president, tells Putin, quote, do whatever the hell you want.
There he goes.
That's a quote.
He's going against Trump.
Former president actually said that.
He's doing this is his
Bowing
candidacy
down to a
speech.
Russian leader. I think it's outrageous, it's dangerous, and it's unacceptable. America is a founding member of NATO, the military alliance of democratic nations created after World War II to prevent war and keep the peace. And today, we've made NATO stronger than ever. Welcome Finland to the alliance last year.
Yeah, but I think they added
Just
Sweden
this morning,
today or something.
Sweden officially joined, and their minister is here tonight. We're going to stand up.
What is Sweden doing in a war? They don't fight. They don't get in wars. What do they have to contribute to NATO? They're just going to suck up more money from every other country in NATO.
And they know how to fight. Mr. Prime Minister, welcome to NATO, the strongest military alliance the world has ever seen. I say this to Congress, we have to stand up to Putin. Send me a bipartisan national security bill.
Is this the State of the Union
History
or
is
the
literally
state of
watching.
Ukraine?
History is watching. If the United States walks away, it will put Ukraine at risk. Europe is at risk. The free world will be at risk, emboldening others to do what they wish to do us harm. My message to President Putin, who I've known for a long time, is simple. We will not walk away. We will not bow down.
And we will keep giving them your tax dollars. We will give Ukraine money and money and money.
In a literal sense, history is watching. History is watching. Just like history watched 3 years ago on January 6th, when insurrectionists stormed this very Capitol and placed a dagger to the throat of American democracy.
This is obviously
Many
not
of
a
you were
State of the
here
Union. This is
on that
a
darkest of days.
we should have Trump.
We all saw
speech.
with our own eyes the insurrectionists were not patriots. They'd come to stop the peaceful transfer of power, to overturn the will of the people. January 6th lies about the 2020 election and the plots to steal the election posed a gravest threat to U.S.
This
democracy.
guy is just,
since the
this is
Civil
our
War.
president. He's so
But
afraid
they
of
failed.
losing. He's talking about Ukraine
America
and
stood.
J6.
America stood
This is the
strong
dark state,
and
deep
democracy
state talking.
prevailed. We must be honest. The threat to democracy must be defended. My predecessor and some of you here seek to bury the truth about January.
Why is he
6th.
talking about what's
not
the
do
State of the
that.
Union?
This is the moment to speak the truth and to bury the lies. Here's the simple truth. You can't love your country only when you win. As I've done ever since being elected to office, I ask all of you without regard to party to join together and defend democracy. Remember your oath of office is defending against all threats, foreign and domestic. Respect free and fair elections. Restore trust in our institutions.
Oh my God,
Make
he
clear
trusts.
political violence
Nobody
has
trusts
absolutely
the election
no
system.
place, no place in America, zero place. Again, it's not hyperbole to suggest history is watching. We're watching. Your children and grandchildren will read about this day and what we do. History is watching another assault on freedom. Joining us tonight is Latoya Beasley, a social worker from Birmingham, Alabama. 14 months ago, she and her husband welcomed a baby girl thanks to the miracle of IVF. She scheduled treatments to have that second child. The Alabama Supreme Court shut down IVF treatments across the state, unleashed by a Supreme Court decision overturning Roe v. Wade. She was told her dream would have to wait. What her family had got through should never have happened. Unless Congress acts, it could happen again. So tonight, let's stand up for families like hers. To my friends across the aisle, don't keep this waiting any longer. Guarantee the right to AVF. Guarantee it nationwide. Like most Americans, I believe Roe v. Wade got it right. I thank Vice President Harris for being an incredible leader, defending reproductive freedom, and so much more. Thank you. My predecessor came to office determined to see Roe v. Wade overturned. He's the reason it was overturned, and he brags about it. Look at the chaos that has resulted. Joining us tonight is Kate Cox, the wife and mother from Dallas. She's become pregnant again and had a fetus of a fatal condition. Her doctor told Kate that her own life and her ability to have children in the future were at risk if she didn't act. Because Texas law banned her ability to act, Kate and her husband had to leave the state to get what she needed. What her family got through should have never happened as well, but it's happening in too many others. There are state laws banning the freedom to choose, criminalizing doctors, forcing survivors of rape and incest to leave their states to get the treatment they need. Many of you in this chamber and my predecessor are promising to pass a national ban on reproductive freedom. My God, what freedom else would you take away? Look, it's a decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. The Supreme Court majority wrote the following, and with all due respect, justices, women are not without electoral power. Electoral or political power. You're about to realize just how much you're right about that. Clearly. Clearly. Those bragging about overturning Roe v. Wade have no clue about the power of women. But they found out when reproductive freedom was on the ballot. We won in 2022 and 2020, and we'll win again in 2024. If you, the American people, send me a Congress that supports the right to choose, I promise you, I'll restore Roe v. Wade as the law of the land again. Folks, America cannot go back. I'm here tonight to show what I believe is the way forward, because I know how far we come. 4 years ago next week, before I came to office, the country was hit by the worst pandemic and the worst economic crisis in a century. Remember the fear, record losses.
One that they just
spike in
said it's
crime and
only
the
a
murder
flu.
rate, raging virus that took more than 1 million American lives, of loved ones, millions left behind. A mental health crisis of isolation and loneliness. A president, my predecessor, failed the most basic presidential duty that he owes to American people, the duty to care. I think that's unforgivable. I came to office determined to get us through one of the toughest periods in the nation's history. We have. It doesn't make news in 1,000 cities and towns. The American people are writing the greatest comeback story never told.
This guy is hopped up on something because he's not even a talk. It's like a shout. He gets, when he's hopped up, he shouts.
Of American possibilities, building an economy from the middle out and the bottom up, not the top down. Investing in all America, in all Americans, to make
And China.
a fair shot.
You forgot China.
We leave
the one who's paying
no
you.
one behind. The pandemic no longer controls our lives. The vaccine that saved us from COVID are now being used to beat cancer, turning setback into comeback.
Never heard that,
That's
using
America
cancer.
does.
All I heard was that Pfizer went up, their profit increased $200 billion, and Moderna's profit increased like $100 billion.
Our inherited economy is on the brink. Now our economy is literally the envy of the world. 15 million new jobs in just 3 years, a record.
They're minimum wage jobs. They're nothing.
Unemployment.
Economy is envy of the world. What world is he talking about? Mars?
A record 16 million Americans are starting small businesses, and each one is a literal act of hope. With historic job growth and small business growth for Black and Hispanics and Asian Americans, 800,000 new manufacturing jobs in America and counting. Where is it written we can't be the manufacturing capital of the world? We are, we will. More people have health insurance today. More people have health insurance today than ever before. The racial wealth gap is as small as it's been in 20 years. Wages keep going up. Inflation keeps coming down. Inflation has dropped from 9% to 3%, the lowest in the world and tending lower. The landing is and will be soft. And now, instead of importing foreign products and exporting American jobs, we're exporting American products and creating American jobs right here in America, where they belong.
There's more jobs at McDonald's and Panera Bread than ever.
Consumer studies show consumer confidence is soaring. Buy America has been the law of the land since the 1930s. Past administrations, including my predecessor,
This could seriously be
some Democrats as well in the past,
one of the, if not
failed to
the
buy
worst
America.
State of the Union,
Not
boring.
anymore.
Look
On
at
my
Johnson.
watch, federal
He knows
projects
he's
that you
Biden's
fund,
lying. See him shaking
like
his
helping
head?
build American roads, bridges, and highways will be made with American products and built by American workers.
It's amazing he's saying this 4 years in when he could have done this when the Democrats control Congress. This is a political speech on his part.
And thanks to our CHIPS and Science Act, the United States is investing more in research and development than ever before. During the pandemic, a shortage of semiconductors, chips, that drove up the price of everything from cell phones to automobiles. And by the way, we invented those chips right here in America. Well, instead of having to import them, private companies are now investing billions of dollars to build new chip factories here in America, creating tens of thousands of jobs. Many of those jobs paying $100,000 a year and don't require a college degree. In fact, my policies have attracted $650 billion in private sector investment in clean energy, advanced manufacturing, creating tens of thousands of jobs here in America. And thanks to our bipartisan infrastructure law, 46,000 new projects have been announced all across your communities. And by the way, I noticed some of you strongly voted against it, or they're cheering on that money coming in. I like it. I'm with you. I'm with you. If any of you don't want that money in your district, just let me know. Modernizing our roads and bridges, ports and airports, public transit systems. Removing poisonous lead pipes so every child can drink clean water without risk of brain damage.
Meanwhile, he hasn't gone to that Ohio city that was poisoned.
High-speed internet for every American, no matter where you live, urban, suburban, or rural communities, in red states and blue states. Record investments in tribal communities. Because of my investment in a family farm.
The American people must know he's lying so badly that they're just not interested in what he has to say.
We're better able to stay in the family for those farms and their children and grandchildren won't have to leave home to make a living. It's transformative. The great comeback story is Belvedere, Illinois, home to an auto plant for nearly 60 years. Before I came to office, the plant was on its way to shutting down. Thousands of workers feared for their livelihoods. Hope was fading. Then I was elected to office and we raised the Belvedere repeatedly with auto companies knowing unions would make all the difference. The UAW worked like hell to keep the plant open and get these jobs back, and together we succeeded. Instead of auto factories shutting down, auto factories reopening, and new state-of-the-art battery factories being built to power those cars there at the same. The folks of Belvedere, I say, instead of your town being left behind, your community is moving forward again. Because instead of watching auto jobs of the future go overseas, 4,000 union jobs with higher wages are building the future in Belvedere right here in America. Here tonight is UAW President Shawn Fain, a great friend and a great labor leader. Shawn, where are you? Stand up. And Dawn Sim, a third generation worker, UAW worker at Belvedere. Shawn, I was proud to be the first president to stand on the picket line. And today, Dawn has a good job in her hometown, providing stability for her family and pride and dignity as well. Showing once again, Wall Street didn't build America. They're not bad guys. They didn't build it, though. The middle class built the country, and unions built the middle class. I say to the American people, when America gets knocked down, we get back up. We keep going. That's America. That's you, the American people. It's because of you America's coming back. It's because of you our future is brighter. It's because of you that tonight we can proudly say the state of our union is strong and getting stronger. Tonight, I want to talk about the future of possibilities that we can build together. A future where the days of trickle-down economics are over and the wealthy and the biggest corporations no longer get all the tax breaks. And by the way, I understand corporations. I come from a state that has more corporations invested than every one of your states in the United States combined. And I represented it for 36 years. I'm not anti-corporation, but I grew up in a home where trickle-down economics didn't put much on my dad's kitchen table. That's why I determined to turn things around so middle class does well. When they do well, the poor are way up and the wealthy still do very well. We all do well. And there's more to do to make sure you're feeling the benefits of all we're doing. Americans pay more for prescription drugs than anywhere in the world. It's wrong, and I'm ending it. With a law that I proposed and signed, not one of you Republican buddies voted for it. We finally beat Big Pharma. Instead of paying $400 a month or thereabouts for insulin with diabetes, and it only costs $10 to make, they only get paid $35 a month now and still make a healthy profit.
I'm sure Trump changed the diabetes prescription price.
I want to cap the cost of insulin at $35 a month for every American who needs it. Everyone. For years, people have talked about it, but finally we got it done and gave Medicare the power to negotiate lower prices on prescription drugs, just like the VA is able to do for veterans. That's not just saving seniors money, it's saving taxpayers money. We cut the federal deficit by $160 billion. Because Medicare will no longer have to pay those exorbitant prices to Big Pharma. This year, Medicare is negotiating lower prices for some of the costliest drugs on the market to treat everything from heart disease to arthritis. It's now time to go further and give Medicare the power to negotiate lower prices for 500 different drugs over the next decade. They're making a lot of money, guys. And they'll still be extremely profitable. Will not only save lives, it will save taxpayers another $200 billion. Starting next year, the same law caps total prescription drug costs for seniors on Medicare at $200 to $2,000 a year, even for expensive cancer drugs that cost $10,000, $12,000, $15,000. I want to cap prescription drug costs at $2,000 a year for everyone. Folks, I'm going to get in trouble for saying that, but if you want to get an Air Force One and fly to Toronto, Berlin, Moscow, well, even Moscow, probably. And bring your prescription with you, and I promise you I'll get it for you for 40% the cost you're paying now. Same company, same drug, same place. Folks, the Affordable Care Act, the old Obamacare, is still a very big deal. Over 100 million of you can no longer be denied health insurance because of pre-existing condition. But my predecessor, and many in this chamber, want to take this prescription drug away by repealing Affordable Care Act. I'm not going to let that happen. We stopped you 50 times before, and we'll stop you again. In fact, I'm not only protecting it, I'm expanding it. We enacted tax credits of $800 per person per year, reduce health care costs for millions of working families. That tax credit expires next year. I want to make that savings permanent. To state the obvious, women are more than half our population, but research on women's health has always been underfunded. That's why we're launching the first ever White House initiative on women's health research, led by Jill, doing an incredible job as First Lady. To pass my plan for $12 billion to transfer women's health research and benefit millions of lives all across America. I know the cost of housing is so important to you. If inflation keeps coming down, mortgage rates will come down as well, and the Fed acknowledges that. But I'm not waiting. I want to provide an annual tax credit that will give Americans $400 a month for the next 2 years as mortgage rates come down, to put toward their mortgages when they buy their first home or trade up for a little more space. Just for 2 years. And my administration is also eliminating title insurance on federally backed mortgages. When you refinance your home, you can save $1,000 or more as a consequence. For millions of renters, we're cracking down on big landlords who use antitrust law, who break antitrust laws by price fixing and driving up rents. We've cut red tape so builders can get federally financing, which is already helping build a record 1.7 million new housing units nationwide. Now pass and build and renovate 2 million affordable homes and bring those rents down. To remain the strongest economy in the world, we need to have the best education system in the world. And I suspect all of you, want to give every child, a good start by providing access to preschool for 3 and 4 years old. You know, I think I pointed out last year, that children coming from broken homes where there's no books, they're not read to, not spoken to very often, start school, kindergarten or first grade, having heard 1 million fewer words spoken. Well, studies show that children who go to preschool are nearly 50% more likely to finish high school, go on to earn a 2- and 4-year degree, no matter what their background is. I met a year and a half ago with the leaders of the Business Roundtable. They were mad that they were angry. I think, well, they were discussing why I wanted to spend money on education. I pointed out to them as vice president, I met with over I think it was 182 of those folks. Don't hold me to the exact number. And I asked them what they need most, the CEOs. And you've had the same experience on both sides of the aisle. They say a better educated workforce, right? So I looked at them and I say, I come from Delaware. DuPont used to be the 8th largest corporation in the world. And every new enterprise they bought, they educated the workforce to that enterprise. But none of you do that anymore. Why are you angry with me providing you the opportunity for the best educated workforce in the world? And they all looked at me and said, I think you're right. I want to expand high quality tutoring and summer learning to see that every child learns to read by 3rd grade. I'm also connecting local businesses and high schools so students get hands-on experience and a path to good paying job, whether or not they go to college. And I want to make sure the college is more affordable. Let's continue increasing the Pell Grants to working and middle-class families and increase record investments in HBCUs and minority-serving institutions, including Hispanic institutions. When I was told I couldn't universally just change the way in which we dealt with student loans, I fixed 2 student loan programs that already existed to reduce the burden of student debt for nearly 4 million Americans, including nurses, firefighters, and others in public service. Like Keenan Jones, a public educator from Minnesota, who's here with us tonight. Keenan, where are you? Keenan, thank you. He's educated hundreds of students so they can go to college. Now he's able to help, after debt forgiveness, get his own daughter to college. And folks, look, such relief is good for the economy because folks are now able to buy a home, start a business, start a family. While we're at it, I want to give public school teachers a raise. And by the way, the first couple of years, we cut the deficit. Now, let me speak to the question of fundamental fairness for all Americans. I've been delivering real results in fiscally responsible ways. We've already cut the federal deficit. Over $1 trillion. I signed the bipartisan deal to cut another $1 trillion in the next decade. It's my goal to cut the federal deficit another $3 trillion by making big corporations and very wealthy finally beginning to pay their fair share. Look, I'm a capitalist. If you want to make or can make a million or millions of bucks, that's great. Just pay your fair share in taxes. A fair tax code is how we invest things to make this country great. Healthcare, education, defense, and so much more. But here's the deal. The last administration enacted a $2 trillion tax cut, overwhelmingly benefit the top 1%, the very wealthy and the biggest corporations, and exploded the federal deficit. They added more to the national debt than any presidential term in American history. Check the numbers. Folks at home, does anybody really think the tax code is fair? Do you really think the wealthy and big corporations need another $2 trillion tax break? I sure don't. I'm going to keep fighting like hell to make it fair. Under my plan, nobody earning less than $400,000 a year will pay additional penny in federal taxes. Nobody, not one penny. And they haven't yet. In fact, the child tax credit I passed during the pandemic cut taxes for millions of working families and cut child poverty in half. Restore that child tax credit. No child should go hungry in this country. The way to make the tax code fair is to make big corporations and the very wealthy begin to pay their fair share. Remember, in 2020, 55 of the biggest companies in America made $40 billion and paid zero in federal income tax. Zero. Not anymore. Thanks to the law I wrote and we signed, big companies have to pay a minimum of 15%. But that's still less than working people pay in federal taxes. It's time to raise corporate minimum tax to at least 21%. So every big corporation finally begins to pay their fair share. I also want to end tax breaks for big pharma, big oil, private jets, massive executive pay when it's only supposed to be $1 million that can be deducted. They can pay them $20 million if they want, but deduct $1 million. End it now. You know, there are 1,000 billionaires in America. You know what the average federal tax is for those billionaires? No. They're making great sacrifices, 8.2%. That's far less than the vast majority of Americans pay. No billionaire should pay a lower federal tax rate than a teacher, a sanitation worker, or a nurse. I propose a minimum tax for billionaires of 25%, just 25%. You know what that would raise? That would raise $500 billion over the next 10 years. And imagine what that could do for America. Imagine a future with affordable child care. Millions of families can get they need to go to work to help grow the economy. Imagine a future with paid leave, because no one should have to choose between working and taking care of their sick family member. Imagine the future of home care and elder care, and people living with disabilities so they can stay in their homes and family caregivers can finally get the pay they deserve. Tonight, let's all agree once again to stand up for seniors. Many of my friends on the other side of the aisle want to put Social Security on the chopping block. If anyone here tries to cut Social Security, Medicare, or raise the retirement age, I will stop you. The working people who built this country pay more into Social Security than millionaires and billionaires do. It's not fair. We have two ways to go. Republicans can cut Social Security and give more tax breaks to the wealthy. That's the proposal. Oh no, you guys don't want another $2 trillion tax cut? I kind of thought that's what your plan was. Well, that's good to hear. You're not going to cut another $2 trillion for the super wealthy. That's good to hear. I'll protect and strengthen Social Security and make the wealthy pay their fair share. Look, too many corporations raise prices to pad their profits, charging more and more for less and less. That's why we're cracking down on corporations that engage in price gouging and deceptive pricing, from food to healthcare to housing. In fact, the snack companies think you won't notice if they change the size of the bag and put a hell of a lot fewer, same size bag, put fewer chips in it. No, I'm not joking. It's called shrinkflation. Pass Bobby Casey's bill and stop this. I really mean it. You probably all saw that commercial on Snickers bars. You get charged the same amount, and you got about, I don't know, 10% fewer Snickers in it. Look, I'm also getting rid of junk fees. Those hidden fees at the end of your bill that are there without your knowledge. My administration announced we're cutting credit card late fees from $32 to $8. Banks and credit card companies are allowed to charge what it costs them to instigate the collection. And that's more a hell of a lot like $8 and 30 some dollars. They don't like it. Credit card companies don't like it. But I'm saving American families $20 billion a year with all the junk fees I'm eliminating. Folks at home, that's why the banks are so mad. It's $20 billion in profit. I'm not stopping there. My administration has proposed rules to make cable, travel, utilities, and online ticket sellers tell you the total price up front so there are no surprises. It matters. It matters. And so does this. In November, my team began serious negotiation with a bipartisan group of senators. The result was a bipartisan bill with the toughest set of border security reforms we've ever seen. Oh, you don't think so? Oh, you don't like that bill, huh? That conservatives got together and said it was a good bill? I'll be darned. That's amazing. That bipartisan bill would hire 1,500 more security agents and officers, 100 more immigration judges to help tackle the backload of 2 million cases, 4,300 more asylum officers, and new policies so they can resolve cases in 6 months instead of 6 years now. What are you against? 100 more high-tech drug detection machines to significantly increase the ability to screen and stop vehicles smuggling fentanyl into America. That's killing thousands of children. This bill would save lives and bring order to the border. It will also give me and any new president new emergency authority to temporarily shut down the border when the number of migrants at the border is overwhelming. The Border Patrol Union has endorsed this bill. The Federal Chamber of Commerce is, yeah. You're saying low. Look at the facts. I know you know how to read. I believe that given the opportunity for a majority in the House and Senate would endorse the bill as well, a majority right now. But unfortunately, politics has derailed this bill so far. I'm told my predecessor called members of Congress in the Senate to demand they block the bill. He feels political win, he viewed it as a political win for me and a political loser for him. It's not about him, it's not about me. I'd be a winner, not really. Lincoln Riley, an innocent young woman who was killed by an illegal. That's right. But how many of thousands of people being killed by illegals? To her parents, I say, my heart goes out to you, having lost children myself. I understand. But look, if we change the dynamic at the border, people pay
illegals that he let in.
Smugglers $8,000 to get across the border because they know if they get by and let into the country, it's 6 to 8 years before they have a hearing. And it's worth taking the chance of the $8,000. But
well, how about keeping him out? How about endorsing instead of letting him in?
The idea is it's highly unlikely that people will pay that money and come all that way, knowing that they'll be able to be kicked out quickly. Folks, I would respectfully suggest my Republican friends owe it to the American people, get this bill done. We need to act now. And if my predecessor is watching, instead of paying politics and pressuring members of Congress to block the bill, join me in telling the Congress to pass it. We can do it together. But that's what he apparently, here's what he will not do. I will not demonize immigrants saying they are poison in the blood of our country. I will not separate families. I will not ban people because of their faith. Unlike my predecessor on my first day in office, I introduced a comprehensive bill to fix our immigration system. Take a look at it. It has all these and more. Secure the border, provide a pathway to citizenship for dreamers, and so much more. But unlike my predecessor, I know who we are as Americans. We're the only nation in the world with a heart and soul that draws from old and new. Home to Native Americans, whose ancestors have been here for thousands of years. Home to people of every place, from every place on earth. They came freely. Some came in chains. Some came when famine struck, like my ancestral family in Ireland. Some to flee persecution, to chase dreams that are impossible anywhere but here in America. That's America. And we all come from somewhere, but we're all Americans. Look, folks, we have a simple choice. We can fight about fixing the border, or we can fix it. I'm ready to fix it. Send me the border bill now. A transformational moment in history happened 59 years ago today in Selma, Alabama. Hundreds of foot soldiers for justice marched across the Edmund Pettus Bridge, named after the Grand Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan, to claim their fundamental right to vote. They were beaten, they were bloody, and left for dead. Our late friend and former colleague, John Lewis, was on that march. We miss him. But joining us tonight are other marchers, both in the gallery and on the floor, including Betty Mae Fikes, known as the voice of Selma. The daughter of gospel singers and preachers, she sang songs of prayer and protest on that bloody Sunday to help shake the nation's conscience. 5 months later, the Voting Rights Act passed and was signed into law. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But 59 years later, there are forces taking us back in time. Voter suppression, election subversion, unlimited dark money, extreme gerrymandering. John Lewis was a great friend to many of us here, but if you truly want to honor him and all the heroes who marched with him, then it's time to do more than talk. Pass the Freedom to Vote Act, the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. And stop denying another core value of America, our diversity across American life. Banning books, it's wrong. Instead of erasing history, let's make history. I want to protect fundamental rights. Pass the Equality Act. And my message to transgender Americans is, I have your back. Pass the PRO Act for workers' rights. Raise the federal minimum wage, because every worker has a right to a decent living more than $7 an hour. We're also making history by confronting the climate crisis, not denying it. I don't think any of you think there's no longer a climate crisis. At least I hope you don't. I'm taking the most significant action ever on climate in the history of the world. I'm cutting our carbon emissions in half by 2030, creating tens of thousands of clean energy jobs like the IBEW work is building and installing 500,000 electric vehicle charging stations. Conserving 30% of America's lands and waters by 2030. And taking action on environmental justice fence line communities smothered by the legacy of pollution. And pattern after the Peace Corps and AmeriCorps, I launched the Climate Corps to put 20,000 young people to work in the forefront of our clean energy future. I'll triple that number in a decade. To state the obvious, all Americans deserve the freedom to be safe. And America is safer today than when I took office. Year before I took office, murder rates went up 30%. 30% they went up. The biggest increase in history. It was then, through my American Rescue Plan, which every American voted against, I might add, we made the largest investment in public safety ever. Last year, the murder rate saw the sharpest decrease in history. Violent crime fell to one of its lowest levels in more than 50 years. But we have more to do. We have to help cities invest in more community police officers, more mental health workers, more community violence intervention. Give communities the tool to crack down on gun crime, retail crime, and carjacking. Keep building trust as I've been doing by taking executive action on police reform and calling for it to be the law of the land. Directing my cabinet to review the federal classification of marijuana and expunging thousands of convictions for the mere possession, because no one should be jailed for simply using or have it on their record. Take on crimes that
Thank you to the cable and satellite companies who provide C-SPAN to viewers as a public service.
Neighbor could hear the same message. The constant refrain, and I was there for hours meeting with every family. They said, do something. Do something. Well, I did do something by establishing the first ever Office of Gun Violence Prevention in the White House that the Vice President is leading the charge. Thank you for doing it. Meanwhile, my predecessor told the NRA he's proud he did nothing on guns when he was president. Oof. After another shooting in Iowa recently, he said, when asked what to do about it, he said, just get over it. There's his quote, just get over it. I say, stop it. Stop it, stop it, stop it. I'm proud we beat the NRA when I signed the most significant gun safety law in nearly 30 years because of this Congress. We now must beat the NRA again. I'm demanding a ban on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. Pass universal background checks. None of this. I taught the Second Amendment for 12 years. None of this violates the Second Amendment or vilifies responsible gun owners. You know, as we manage challenges at home, we're also managing crises abroad, including in the Middle East. I know the last 5 months have been gut-wrenching for so many people, for the Israeli people, for the Palestinian people, and so many here in America. This crisis began on October 7th with a massacre by a terrorist group called Hamas, as you all know. 1,200 innocent people, women and girls, men and boys, slaughtered after enduring sexual violence. The deadliest day for the Jewish people since the Holocaust, and 250 hostages taken. Here in this chamber tonight are families whose loved ones are still being held by Hamas. I pledge to all the families that we will not rest until we bring every one of your loved ones home. We also work around the clock to bring home Evan and Paul, Americans being unjustly detained by the Russians and others around the world. Israel has the right to go after Hamas. Hamas ended this conflict by releasing hostages, laying down arms, could end it by releasing the hostages, laying down arms, and surrendering those responsible for October 7th. But Israel has Israel has an added burden because Hamas hides and operates among the civilian population like cowards under hospitals, daycare centers, and all the like. Israel also has a fundamental responsibility, though, to protect innocent civilians in Gaza. This war has taken a greater toll on innocent civilians than all previous wars in Gaza combined. More than 30,000 Palestinians have been killed, most of whom are not Hamas. Thousands and thousands of innocent women and children, girls and boys, also orphaned. Nearly 2 million more Palestinians under bombardment or displacement. Homes destroyed, neighborhoods in rubble, cities in ruin. Families without food, water, medicine. It's heartbreaking. I've been working nonstop to establish an immediate ceasefire that would last for 6 weeks to get all the prisoners released, all the hostages released, to get the hostages home and ease the intolerable and humanitarian crisis and build toward an enduring, something more enduring. The United States has been leading international efforts to get more humanitarian assistance to Gaza. Tonight, I'm directing the U.S. military to lead an emergency mission to establish a temporary pier in the Mediterranean on the coast of Gaza that can receive large shipments carrying food, water, medicine, and temporary shelters. No U.S. boots will be on the ground. A temporary pier will enable a massive increase in the amount of humanitarian assistance getting into Gaza every day. And Israel must do its part. Israel must allow more aid into Gaza to ensure humanitarian workers aren't caught in the crossfire. And they're announcing they're going to have a crossing in northern Gaza. To the leadership of Israel, I say this: humanitarian assistance cannot be a secondary consideration or a bargaining chip. Protecting and saving innocent lives has to be a priority. As we look to the future, the only real solution to the situation is a two-state solution over time. And I say this as a lifelong supporter of Israel. My entire career, no one has a stronger record with Israel than I do. I challenge any of you here. I'm the only American president to visit Israel in wartime. But there is no other path that guarantees Israel's security and democracy. There is no other path that guarantees that Palestinians can live in peace with peace and dignity. And there's no other path that guarantees peace between Israel and all of its neighbors, including Saudi Arabia, with whom I'm talking. Creating stability in the Middle East also means containing the threat posed by Iran. That's why I built a coalition of more than a dozen countries to defend international shipping and freedom of navigation in the Red Sea. I've ordered strikes to degrade the Houthi capability and defend U.S. forces in the region. As Commander-in-Chief, I will not hesitate to direct further measures to protect our people and our military personnel. For years, I've heard many of my Republican and Democratic friends say that China is on the rise and America's falling behind. They've got it backwards. I've been saying it for over 4 years, even when I wasn't president. America's rising. We have the best economy in the world. And since I've come to office, our GDP is up, our trade deficit with China is down to the lowest point in over a decade. And we're standing up against China's unfair economic practices. We're standing up for peace and stability across the Taiwan Straits. I've revitalized our partnership and alliance in the Pacific. India, Australia, Japan, South Korea, Pacific Islands. I've made sure that the most advanced American technologies can't be used in China, not allowing to trade them there. Frankly, for all this tough talk on China, it never occurred to my predecessor to do any of that. I want competition with China, not conflict. And we're in a stronger position to win the conflict of the 21st century against China than anyone else, for that matter, than any time as well. Here at home, I've signed over 400 bipartisan bills. There's more to pass my unity agenda. Strengthen penalties on fentanyl trafficking. You don't want to do that, huh? Pass bipartisan privacy legislation to protect our children online. Harness the promise of AI to protect us from peril. Ban AI voice impersonations and more. And keep our truly sacred obligation to train and equip those we send into harm's way and care for them and their families when they come home and when they don't. That's why the song Support and Help of Dennis and the VA, I signed the PACT Act. One of the most significant laws ever, helping millions of veterans exposed to toxins who now are battling more than 100 different cancers. Many of them don't come home, but we owe them and their families support. We owe it to ourselves to keep supporting our new health research agency called ARPA-H, and remind us that we can do big things like end cancer as we know it, and we will. Let me close with this. Yay. I know you don't want to hear any more, Lindsay, but I got to say a few more things. I know it may not look like it, but I've been around a while. When you get to be my age, certain things become clearer than ever. I know the American story. Again and again, I've seen the contest between competing forces in the battle for the soul of our nation. Between those who want to pull America back to the past and those who want to move America into the future. My lifetime has taught me to embrace freedom and democracy, a future based on core values that have defined America: honesty, decency, dignity, equality, to respect everyone, to give everyone a fair shot, to give hate no safe harbor. Now, other people my age see it differently. The American story of resentment, revenge, and retribution, that's not me. I was born amid World War II, when America stood for the freedom of the world. I grew up in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and Claymont, Delaware, among working class people who built this country. I watched in horror as two of my heroes, like many of you did, Dr. King and Bobby Kennedy, were assassinated. And their legacies inspired me to pursue a career in service. I left the law firm, became a public defender because my city of Wilmington was the only city in America occupied by the National Guard after Dr. King was assassinated because of the riots. And I became a county councilman almost by accident. I got elected to the United States Senate when I had no intention of running at age 29. Then vice president to our first black president. Now president to the first women vice president. In my career, I've been told I was too young. By the way, they're going to let me on the Senate elevators for votes sometimes. Not a joke. And I've been told I'm too old. Whether young or old, I've always known what endures. I've known our North Star. The very idea of America is that we're all created equal, deserves to be treated equally throughout our lives. We've never fully lived up to that idea, but we've never walked away from it either. And I won't walk away from it now. I'm optimistic. I really am. I'm optimistic, Nancy. My fellow Americans, the issue facing our nation isn't how old we are, it's how old are our ideas. Hate, anger, revenge, retribution are the oldest of ideas. But you can't lead America with ancient ideas that only take us back. You lead America, the land of possibilities. You need a vision for the future and what can and should be done. Tonight you've heard mine. I see a future where defending democracy, you don't diminish it. I see a future where we restore the right to choose and protect our freedoms, not take them away. I see a future where the middle class finally has a fair shot and the wealthy have to pay their fair share in taxes. I see a future where we save the planet from the climate crisis and our country from gun violence. Above all, I see a future for all Americans. I see a country for all Americans. And I will always be president for all Americans because I believe in America. I believe in you, the American people. You're the reason we've never been more optimistic about our future than I am now. So let's build the future together. Let's remember who we are. We are the United States of America. And there is nothing beyond our capacity when we act together. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Mr. President, whoever's working there. Absolutely. Thank you for making the final decision. That's why I'm working so hard to really help. Hey, thank you. We're going to get it back. We're going to do it. Baptist preacher tonight.
I'll tell you what.
You were the Baptist preacher tonight.
I'll tell you what Jim Eason once said to me. He said, what would old Jim Eason do for you in Delaware? I said, Mr. Chairman, someplace you'd help and someplace you'd hurt. He looked at me and said, I'll come and campaign for you again. You whichever helps.
Come on, good job. Good job. Good job. Great job. Great job. Great job. Be lively. That was a sermon tonight.
Good to see you.
Great.
Good to see you. Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you.
You knocked it out of the water. Great work.
No, there's no T in strength. Strength.
Great job, Mr. President.
You guys are
When we get that half out, that was great, so y'all can get in there. Let me see you.
By the way, I've been in constant contact with you. Here's what I worry about with Ukraine. If we pull away, the rest of Europe's going to pull away. So I'm looking for us.
We're going to get a deal done on Ukraine. We have to. Yes. There's no. Good job on the border. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. You give me accountability.
Oh, yeah. I'm sticking with it.
No, I really mean it.
No, really. Thank you, sir.
And this guy with you does too.
Oh, yeah, he does.
Good. It was amazing. You did a good job. You were right on.
Yeah, you were on fire. You were on fire.
Nobody's going to talk about cognitive impairment now.
Yeah, you were on fire.
Kind of wish sometimes there was cognitive impairment.
You did well. Very good.
You're working real hard.
You fired us all up. Yeah, you fired us.
Hey, Pat.
Hey, God.
I want you to know
Yeah.
Democratic Party is not the first two people to vote. Are so alive. Not telling you. Because I went up to campaign when he was voting, and I was young too. He was young too. Okay. I was young. I got a call. My boss always called home. And the kids.
Let's see if I can get out of the way. And I get out of the way so y'all can.
And I said, one second, so I got a call. I got a call every morning when you're away. I said, honey, I don't know where you're going. She said, fine. What's the matter? I said, nothing. So what's the matter? Did you read today's paper? And I said, no. There's nothing you do. I said, they don't have the anything in the news. I said, a headline, top of the page, Biden, coolest man in Congress. I said, oh, it was like I was shooting on somebody.
I was coming to make a second choice.
But you didn't.
Thank you, Molly Strong. Thank you so much.
By the way, it's all good. You said that.
I actually wanted to go that way so I could say hello to the camera.
I'll be there. President, great job tonight. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. You're not good. Thanks for coming. Good job. Tammy Duckworth. Thanks. We're trying to get to you that she can't get out.
I'll get the thing.
Thanks for helping.
got to turn around. So.
Then we can swap it. How about that?
Sorry about that. You did a home run.
I know I did. If she says, I know that happened.
We're walking this way, so we're
Going that way? Yep, we're going this way. Go back.
go back.
Thank you, guys.
You got any space behind you?
Nope. Good. We're gonna see you for the first debate in my district, Texas State. Right where I'll be the statue stands.
Say hello to Senator Douglas. She and I left the House for the Senate bill on our
I shouted real loud. I hope you heard
Pennsylvania, that's in Lehigh Valley. They loved you there. I know. You don't have to tell me. I know. You think you're in the prettier. You have the prettier part. We can
At the speech.
You knocked it out of the park.
knocked around.
That's really good.
Surprised you brought the Irish fire tonight.
You know,
I was there. It was incredible. You're right.
And I showed up and they copy of the bill on his check. He gave me my great grandfather. He made the bricks.
Do it again. In the church. I want to get y'all doing it. No, take a picture.
He's an unbelievable word for tissue.
We're gonna get you to Indy 500.
You kicked ass and took name.
All right.
How do I?
I bet that truck is come on.
I've had the secretary first job, which is an old reference.
You're not my wife.
And you're a torque junkie like me.
He's afraid of everybody to get in the car.
Oh yeah, it's your BFF.
If I can get him to do this. Can I get a picture of the senator and me on our? No, not you're not going to hold
All right. For IVF,
You guys exiting? Thank you so much. My stuff is back there. I'll go around. Yes, ma'am. Can you take this? Yes. How are you, ma'am?
Good. I saw you earlier. How's everything going? Yeah, good. That's nice.
Where is she?
I know.
Maybe I can find her and see.
You better say hi. I'm so proud of you. How are you doing? Everything you've done for New Mexico.
So much
Yes.
you knocked it out of the park.
Yes,
It's amazing.
you're good,
I'm getting texts from everybody at home
Yes,
watching
you're
saying,
amazing.
wow. Jumping up and down. My mom jumping up and down saying, phenomenal.
Where's your mom?
In Houston, Texas.
Yes, sir.
And we got Miss.
Give me your phone.
Really? Okay. He's going to take her number? Yeah, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. 713.
Make a congressman number. 588.
I'm good. How are you? Long time no see. So I'm gonna try right here.
Oh my gosh.
You're out talking. I'm going to say, HR 40.
Yes, sir. HR 40. Great.
Look, excellent. You kidding?
Congressman, should we take a photo right here? Right here. There we go. Excellent. Sounds good. Excellent.
Did you get a signing?
I did. I got multiple.
Thank you. Thank you.
Excellent.
We appreciate you. I'm out of your life and out of your world.
Right this way.
Thank you. I have stuff back here that I have to go.
I think around is probably best.
It's a great picture for governor.
She's going to be the governor.
For the governor's guy.
There you go.
Yes.
Yes, 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 yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
I'm happy to do my part.
I was in Kiev 2 Saturdays. Very strong message. But you got to do this stuff. I talked to Ron last night. Chinese are watching. Everybody's watching. The world's watching. Seminal moment in American world history.
I agree. And I want to joke and say history's watching. What did we write about this one? I don't mean my speech. I mean this
No, they'll write about that speech. They're going to write about this. They're going to write about this.
Good to see you.
Mama from Rhode Island.
Good to see you. I didn't get you guys up. I was happy you're here a little bit.
If you go to the aisle.
My 12-year-old referred to you as her BFF. I sent a photo and she said, oh, it's my BFF.
Do me a favor.
She said, don't forget to tell him he invited me to the White House.
I did.
You did. Oh, I know. Well, okay, who do I talk to?
You got a number?
Yes, sir.
This is the day down the line.
Yes, sir. If you guys are trying to get yeah, well, my kids are pretty lovely. You probably like her.
I'd love to give a 50 day with her friends.
Mr. President, former Congressman from Detroit, and what you've accomplished for those people is sensational. It really is. You're doing it. Tonight, this was the most fun. I've been to 8 to State of the Union addresses. That's right. Thank you for being for the country. You, my best friend, right here.
Hi, Catherine Clark.
This is my best friend.
Oh.
I love you.
So he was a very important
Yes.
Good to see you.
My daughter, Greta, met you at the number. You were so kind. You held her up. She said, "What do I call it?" You said, "College." That's right. On President's Day, had you paint pictures, and she has insisted that I give you the paint. She painted a view.
By the way, I'm here tomorrow. Yes, sir. Where are you tomorrow?
I'm here. My wife's outside, so you might say.
If you have a chance, come over the over. We'll give you a time. I frame all these pictures.
Well, she is enamored with you, and it makes parenting hard because you said college, Joe. We say President Biden, but she
Joe's good enough. Okay, so give me the time.
Yes, sir.
I'll put on the back.
The information on that. Thank you.
Mr. President, you kicked ass.
That was so cool.
You know, that was all I could do to be a but I thought it was the right thing to do.
It simply was.
Absolutely.
You're good. Apple favor. I got you. I know you are, man.
He knocked his heart too. Put on those glasses again.
Harry Truman said, they said, give him hell. Harry says, I'm not giving him hell. I'm just telling the truth. They think it's hell.
They don't like to hear it.
Mr. President, you were fantastic. Thank you
You
so
are
much.
nicely president. I love it.
Michigan loves you so much, Mr. President. We're excited to have you there as much as
I
you
am
want.
holding up everybody
How are
here.
you?
Thank you very much.
I'm so sorry to see you guys waiting.
Privilege.
And by the way, all kidding aside, this is Dave Toddy. I really truly, I'm thinking about it. I tell this to this chief all the time. It's the finest fighting force in history. I don't think we've been through that. No one received my expression as a president. I really mean it. Think of what you do. Everywhere I go, and some of you have been to these international meetings I go to, the CEO and the CEO, the president come beside you. We've got to stand with this. We need you want to. Our democracy is a history and not yours. There's so much at stake. I mean, it's so much bigger. Oh, it's driving me crazy. Thank you. Thanks for